Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to the Plant-Based Morning Show, sponsored by Compliment, lovecompliment.com. You're too late to get the special 2-for-1 sale we had yesterday, or buy two, get one, equal or less value. Too late for that. Next time, you pay closer attention, maybe you'll get it. I'm going to add Doug in here. It's Wednesday, January 10th, which I don't know if that really means anything to anybody that day. New Year's resolutions. I'm sure somebody will tell you that New Year's resolutions fail on that day because that seems to be what they do throughout January. All right. Adding Doug. Having a little trouble. And then we'll start. Thanks for your patience. All right. There's Doug.
Hey, Matt. How's it going?
Pretty well. How are you
doing? January 10th, the day that all the New Year's resolutions fail.
That's right. That's right. It is.
And, you know, it has to mean something to somebody. It has to be somebody's birthday, right? I mean, shout out to whoever's birthday it is.
It does, yeah. And likely, I think, isn't it true in a room, there's likely always 1 out of 2 chance if there's 30 people in the room of people sharing a birthday. It's always a surprising statistic.
Really?
Yeah, which is not the same as picking a random date, a specific date, and saying out of 30 people, you know, someone matched that birthday. That's definitely lower odds. But once you allow all the dates, because if you're allowing all the possible dates there are to share a birthday, then you know the chances go up. Whereas if we pick a specific date and then we say, hey, 30 people, each of them with a 1 in 365 chance of having that birthday, we're roughly 1 out of 10 chance that we're going to hit one.
Right.
But if we give all the people a chance, all the different days, now if we have 30 different birthdays and we get to test each of those against the other 29 people, you're likely to hit one.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Kind of.
Maybe
kind
not,
of.
maybe
Kind
not
of.
good for the show.
Yeah.
Well, that's how that works.
I've got a good friend who I share the exact same birthday, like year, and within a couple hours of each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Pretty unlikely. Dale Stevens says it is her mom's birthday today, so there's someone to whom it is significant.
Means something to somebody.
Yeah.
You know what else
no
means
great
something to somebody?
Thing though there, because if you have 30 people in here and everybody's got a mom and an uncle and a brother and right, then of course someone's gonna have a birthday. That's how we know.
That's true. That's true.
All right. So what'd you say? The other what?
You know what else means something to somebody?
What?
The Veg News Awards.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Veggie Awards.
The Veggie Awards. They're out. The nominations are out. Plant-Based Morning Show has been nominated, along with No Me Athlete Radio. But let's be real. Plant-Based Morning Show is where it's at. If you're listening to this episode, so head over to vegnews.com. Vote in the Veggie Awards, the 2024 Veggie Awards. There's a bunch of questions, a lot about like your favorite plant milk and cheese and all kinds of stuff. You can fill out all that. I encourage you to do that, of course. Or you can skip to question, I think it's 36. Is that right? Make sure I got that right. 32, question 32. And that is best vegan podcast. Give your friends a vote.
And there we are. How do you find these Veggie Awards? Because I'm at veggies.com. Okay, I got a pop-up coming on.
Pop-up, and also at the very top of every article, it says vote in the 2024 Veggie Awards.
Okay. Veggie Awards. I'm pretty sure I've never won a Veggie Award, or we've never won a Veggie Award. I think we've been nominated. No Meat Athlete Radio is always nominated.
Almost every year.
Yeah.
Never come
close. Then I got a few other things too, like vegan cookbook, vegan things. But I'm pretty sure we never actually won an award because I don't remember any. I certainly don't have a trophy in my room of a Veggie Award or anything like that.
It's hard to compete against Rich Roll or one of these mega.
Right, we're not going to win the podcast, right?
But maybe we should. Maybe, and you know what? We'll be making a statement to Veg News that Plant-Based Morning Show loves them,
right,
and appreciates them, and sends traffic to.
And I bet Rich and who else is Simon Hill? Who else is on the vegan podcast list? Doug, do you have an idea?
Several I hadn't actually heard of before. No, I'm not. I don't have it.
All right, so we can beat them. That's probably good. We can beat the ones we haven't heard of. We won't beat Simon Hill or Rich Roll unless they're too big to tell their audience, waste time talking about Veg News Awards. Go vote for us. We aren't. We can say go give an ironic vote for Plant-Based Morning Show, and maybe people will listen, and maybe we'll get close at least. So do that. That'd be great if you do that, especially considering how much we pick apart Veg News articles and call it irresponsible journalism and stuff like that. I'm surprised they didn't just borrow. You think they nominated us themselves, or you think someone else did and they just couldn't blackball us?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they haven't heard it. I don't know.
Maybe they still listen. Yeah, it's very.
We talk about it all the time, right? I mean, like we send them some love. So some of the other nominees are the Food for Thought podcast. Our friend Colleen Patrick Gaudreau. The Nutrition Facts with Dr. Greger podcast. Our Hen House. The Plant Powered People podcast with who's that? The Michelle and Tony. Yep. So these are some great podcasts. Friends of the show.
These are old though. These are outdated podcasts. These aren't hip and new like ours.
No, nothing like the morning show.
I'm not taking anything away from those things. But put No Meat Athlete Radio in that category too. Old, not relevant anymore. This is new, and that's why this should win.
I mean, even Rich Roll is not even a vegan podcast anymore. I mean, come on, he's talking about everything.
Not new, not relevant, not vegan.
Not relevant.
Out. Plant proof, out. Only thing in is this one. So
you know what? Plant proof's not even nominated on here. That's a huge miss. Odd. I can't believe that. Huh.
Yeah, well, he's Australian, I think. So maybe they're not doing Australia.
You know what?
Anyway, go vote, please. Go
obvious
vote
choice here.
I think so. It sounds like it. Maybe we don't even need votes. I think we're going to win no matter what. Anyway, honored to be nominated, of course. So thank you. Please go over there and show some love. At least that would be a good thing.
Michelle Heath. Good morning. First time live. Usually unavailable, but long time.
There we go. All right.
Plant-based Morning Show podcast listener. Thank you for joining. Good to have you.
Definitely. Welcome, Michelle Health. All right, a lot of people here. This is good. Like to see all the early engagement. Good to see Steven check in. Haven't heard from him in a little while. Yeah, all good. All right, anything, Doug? Introductory. Storm passed. Now it's sunny out, and kids are back in school. But we did have a nice time. Made a little soup. Made a bread. Made a Sicilian sesame semolina bread. That was very nice. So it was kind of a cozy dinner. Nice night at home. Didn't do much. And like I said, ate the soup. The soup was from J.L. Field's vegan pressure cooker book. He used our Instant Pot, which only about one or two recipes are successful for us in that, and this is one of them. So we did that. What about you? What was your choice last night?
I give you one guess.
Tacos. It was Tuesday.
Burrito bar.
Shocking.
Burrito bar, and it was very good. Kids love just filling them up, but I'm not going to talk about that. I talk enough about that. What I will say is, booked this yellow curry dish from the Vegan 101 cookbook that I talked about from they're the founders of the Hey Sunshine Kitchen restaurant we went to in LA. And it was absolutely delicious. It was one of the best curries I've ever made. Big fan. Happy to promote that one. Vegan 101 is the cookbook. Very good. And it was, like you said, it was kind of that like wholesome, warming, just kind of made you feel good type of meal.
Right. Can anyone get this cookbook, or they have to go to Black Mountain into the restaurant to get it?
No, it's a real printed,
like a real
published
thing?
cookbook. Yeah.
Oh, I know that book. That's from your local people to you, or local to California?
Yeah. The place I went in California.
Okay.
Ginny Ingle and Heather Bell.
That book either is often suggested by Amazon, or they do a lot of advertising for it, because I always see that on Amazon all the time. Speaking of that, Sam Turnbull's book, which I remember we were making fun of the cover or something one day a year ago.
Yeah.
And then I said, who's this guy, Sam Turnbull? And then I realized it wasn't even a man, it was a woman, Sam. Yeah. And relatively popular influencer. So I ordered the book. I said, I'm not going to just bash. I'm not going to judge a book by its cover.
And then you left it on your shelf under a pile of papers.
But then I pulled it out. I think it was called Cheap Easy Vegan, or Vegan Easy Cheap. I don't know, something like that. And I made burritos. We had burritos the night before last, actually, from that book. Red lentil burritos. Fast, easy, cheap, vegan. Red lentil burritos, which is good. We don't really eat lentils almost ever, and I'd like to because they're healthy and pretty easy. They cook faster than other beans, so they're a good thing to make. We just don't. So that was good, and had burritos.
Is this the cover that I'm looking at right now? It has like a slice of pizza and a spoon and
just like
cake. That doesn't look that homemade. That was what you were saying. It looked like a self-published homemade book, but
I don't know what exactly it was about it. You're right. That doesn't look so bad. I think like this Vegan 101 book. That's why I thought of it. I think I just saw it all the time on Amazon, so I kind of assumed it was one of these self-published authors that's advertising their own product, which people do successfully, I think. But a lot of times when you see those same repeated advertised books on Amazon, it's like an individual author, not with a publisher, and they're just running ads. But this was not that. I just thought it was, and I liked it. The burritos were great. Good book. I'm a Sam Turnbull fan now.
Yeah, there you go.
I've turned bullish on Sam. That's good.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Thanks. All right. All right. Let's get to the real show here. Should we jump into the weather report? I don't have music today again, unfortunately, but
Matt. How are we going to win a veggie award when we don't have a sound machine, a functioning sound machine?
I don't know. We really need to get the real thing this year, I think, to start taking it seriously. Anyway, here's the news of the day. Ice cream giant. Let me start over. Here's the news of the day. Report. Ice cream giant Ben & Jerry's has launched a new vegan flavor in the U.S. That is the first line of plantbasednews.org's article about it. The flavor is strawberry cheesecake with a Z, and they say it's jam-packed with strawberry cheesecake greatness and a fantastic graham cracker swirl. It's Ben & Jerry's first vegan ice cream that uses their updated plant-based oat milk recipe. So if you still trust Ben & Jerry and you don't fall for all that conspiracy stuff about them, misappropriating the money and not actually donating it to who you think they are, not being so nice as they pretend to be. If you're okay, if that's not your jam, then get this. Probably pretty good ice cream. What about you?
I'm going to get this. Yeah, of course. Okay. And I also love. I think they make the best vegan ice cream.
Yeah, it seems like people say that a lot.
You don't think so?
I don't need it. I don't ever get it. I wouldn't.
Oh, come on.
Wouldn't know.
Doug. That's like to say you've never had pretzels before. You've had Ben & Jerry's ice cream before. I know you have.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't have enough to know the difference between that and the other ones. They're all, I don't know. They're always okay. They're never great. Which is why I don't get them.
Well, I'm going to get this one. It sounds great. And cheesecake sounds good. Sounds like a good one.
Yes. All right, good. More substantial, maybe, is a new study came out that said going vegan could cut your risk of catching COVID. But then New York Post sort of disclaims that by saying, if questionable new research is to be believed.
Okay, so this is from New York Post. I was wondering who wrote this. You wrote this?
Yeah, because Veg News' spin totally different. Veg News' spin is like, hey, vegan cures COVID. Well, they don't say that, but they say being vegan will reduce the risk of COVID. No mention of, potential shortcomings in the research. There's not much shortcomings either. The New York Post goes on to say, after saying that vegetarians and people on a plant-based diet were 39% less likely to get infected than meat eaters, they went on to say that the paper was merely observational and cannot prove anything about who's most susceptible to the illness. But there's a lot of observational studies that we use and draw conclusions from and are good. So it doesn't have to be a clinical trial, and just a clinical trial alone doesn't necessarily prove anything either. So it's kind of, they don't want to admit that vegan is good here, but it is. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's pretty basic. They divided this group into omnivorous or predominantly plant-based dietary groups, and they didn't make them go that way like the twin study. They found the people who were omnivorous and those who already were plant-based, looked at COVID stuff 6 months later and who had gotten it, and the vegans and vegetarians had gotten it 39% less. It might be, though, and this is what happens with observational studies, is you get these correlations that sometimes throw things off. It turned out, and this is, I think, kind of says a lot for plant-based diets, but the meat eaters in the study were more likely to exercise less and have illnesses like cardiovascular disease and diabetes, suggesting they led unhealthier lifestyles. But maybe they're meat eaters and they maybe that's correlated with just a less healthy lifestyle. Possible.
Right.
It's also possible that the meat eating caused the cardiovascular disease and the diabetes, right? So it's not like it's just a coincidence sort of thing.
Right.
So we don't know, right? That's what observational studies get you. They get you a bunch of data and you sort of look at it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it says good things about plant-based
overall positive, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that taking your existing lifestyle and just putting in a plant-based diet is necessarily going to be better, but it means it's likely to do that to me. So I think this is good.
For sure.
Which is why I never got COVID. Never got it, Doug, I don't think.
Really?
No, I don't think
I thought you were patient 0 or something. Weren't you? Didn't you have
Well, it's possible that I had it. I've had a long sickness like in January of that year that COVID went crazy. After visiting Colorado, where it started in the US, it seemed like. So who knows?
I've only had it once, I think.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. All right. And then the rest of this weather report here. Belgium has taken the meaty labels ban off the table for now. They say you can't name things the same names as animal foods, but things like vegan steak is considered a meaty label that they've been debating, possibly putting a ban on. And for now, at least up until this next election, they're not gonna mess with that anymore. So that's good. Speaking of that, though, 20% of customers in the UK, according to new survey by Opinium, they have confused plant-based products with real animal products due to branding or labeling. So all those labeling laws are about consumer confusion, and we always say nobody's actually confused here. And most research shows that they're not. But yeah, 20% of people eating the wrong thing is a lot. That's confusing to me.
Yeah.
In that same surveys, they found that a third of UK adults admitted they were less likely to buy plant-based products if they resemble animal-based food. So that's kind of interesting. That if it looks like it, you wouldn't. And 49% that follow a vegan, right? And 49% that follow a vegan diet stated they prefer plant-based foods to differentiate from animal products rather than try to look like them. So that's another interesting thing, and I think it's a trend that we're starting to see a little bit more happen. People want the veggies back in the veggie burgers. And finally, last thing, more polling, different group here. Ingredient Communications found that the number of vegetarians satisfied with the choice of food products available has dropped by almost half since 2018. Let's see. Yeah, it's confusing after that. But anyway, half as many vegetarians like the choices of products that are available now compared to then, which is weird because
what do you think that means? Like why do you think
maybe that they're sick of it, right? Maybe everyone like whatever plant-based meats there were then they liked and they're like, this is pretty good. We're happy with the limited amount of Beyond Meat that we see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now that all of it's out there and we've gone over the wave is crested and everyone now has this backlash and UPF and all this stuff. So we don't like that stuff anymore. So we're not satisfied. I think.
Yeah, I guess. But are you because those bean burgers and stuff are still there, right? I mean, like most of those products are still there. Now you have more options.
Yeah, I don't think we can apply any sort of strict mathematical relationships here. Transitive property. Right. This is people's emotions and they're unhappy right now.
Can't trust emotions, you know?
No, you can't. Can't trust people.
Can't trust people. That's right.
Yeah.
Because of the emotions, actually.
Right. All right. So there's your weather report. Kind of fun today. I like that one.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We got some comments here.
All right. Give me some.
Scott wants to know why I didn't have a ukulele within reach to play our song. I should keep that in mind.
Yeah. You should.
Dale Stevens bringing up the pretzels, making her thirsty. Lots of love for the pretzels going on in here.
Did I say pretzels? Oh, because that's why I didn't get COVID?
I don't think you brought them up, but just everybody wants to talk about pretzels now. It's like the thing.
Yeah. All right. What's this about Guru Legends saying about Veg News promoting? Veg News do promote flexitarians and vegetarians. And then they go on to say, the thing is, Veg News don't promote people like Veggie Girl or Fit Green Mind. Fit Green Mind's the reason I picked up learning to cook vegan food. I don't know. So I don't know what that is. But for a long time, we couldn't seem to get on Veg News radar. I remember just many years of No Meat Athlete I just couldn't get a link from them or anything. But then suddenly they caught on. After the No Healthy Cookbook, they started giving us love, it seemed. So who knows what it takes. Okay, so let's see. Let's jump in here to what we got today. Not too much. I mean, one thing we've talked about before, it's from New York Post, and the headline is, "We are identical twins, but one of us went vegan, and it made one big health difference." This was the pair of twins, Javon and John Whittington, that I mentioned. They're in the documentary. Good chance to bring that up again if you haven't seen it yet. Good to watch. Check it out. I think it's 4 or 5 episodes long. It's called, what's it called? You Are What You Eat. And it's about these twins where they took one of them, put them on a vegan diet, put the other one on an omnivorous diet, 22 pairs of twins, and tried to look at what happened. Anyway, so this is an interesting example here because this to me kind of speaks to a little bit, I think, especially among males, the thinking around plant-based diets and maybe why we don't see more men going plant-based still. So they by the way, they have their professional bodybuilder dad, who I don't know his name. But that's kind of one of the reasons that it's thought that these guys are in really good shape, and they are. They're from Buffalo. They're 23 years old. And let's see what we got here. So here's, I guess we'll just go with the start. At the beginning, I mean, they were basically the same as far as these things. Their weight was within 1.5 pounds of each other. Visceral fat, one was 0.37 pounds, one was 0.21 pounds. Very similar. The one who went vegan, his weight went up. He put on about 3 pounds, went from 137 to 140. The omnivore went up to 144. And the reason for that difference is that the omnivore, who was eating a healthy meat diet, or they tried to make a healthy omnivorous diet. It wasn't a bunch of junk food, and neither was the vegan one. But one guy went out to 7.1 pounds of muscle gain, and the vegan guy only got 2.3 pounds of muscle gain. And so that's the only real thing that's coming in on the side of the meat diet. And then the one who went the vegan way, let me find this. Sorry, it's kind of jumping around all over the place here. I'm looking at this from a graphic that keeps flashing the numbers on and off.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for me to read it off. The vegan guy's visceral fat went from 0.37 pounds to 0.03 pounds. So he basically lost all of his visceral fat. And this is the dangerous kind of fat. It's the one, it's not the subcutaneous. It's like a level deeper. It's mostly around your abdomen, and it's what surrounds your organs and things like that inside. And that's the dangerous kind of fat compared to the visible outer body fat, which is apparently not that dangerous. Anyway, the omnivore, his visceral fat actually went up slightly, went from 0.21 to 0.22 pounds. So a very small gain, but not the major reduction that the vegan guy got. And then, weight gain, that's not really that substantial. So, and then there was a few like inside things like cholesterol level of the vegan went down, insulin level went down, and one other thing, said LDL, the body weight. So that's, that was all considered very good. Omnivore, no effects on the health. But then at the end, here's what I think is interesting. At the end, it ends with, despite the results, the twins reverted back to their meat-eating ways after the study culminated, since their results weren't drastically different from how they started. And they said, "We cut back on red meat and dairy," Javon said, "but it proved to us that we can continue to eat the way we're eating." So I guess it's just a little weird to me, like that they do all this. They see really good evidence that the plant-based diet is a better choice for the long term. But the omnivore diet, gives you more muscle in the short term. And these guys are, they're young. There's a lot of shirked off at the beach pictures here. That muscle is important to them. Right? Their dad was a bodybuilder. And so I just think, I don't know. I think young people, especially those interested in putting on muscle, I think they don't want to be vegan. I think they don't want to deal with less muscle gain. And I think they don't care about the long-term effects. I think it's like, I think it's like, give me muscle in the short term versus health in the long term. I'll take muscle in the short term right now because I'm young and invincible and I just, don't care.
But also it wasn't that drastic, right? I mean, like both of them were fairly healthy to begin with. They didn't have a ton of body fat. Hardly any at all. They were, and it's not like they had really troubling numbers at the beginning of this and one of them went way down and the other one didn't. Like,
right.
I can get that certainly at 23, like thinking, oh, well, it was more trouble. I didn't get to eat the foods I like. And, it's not that much healthier.
Right. Right. It's like if one of them is working fine, then why would I change and do all this other stuff? It just made me wonder about this. And along with that headline yesterday about plant-based diet, could tend to be deficient in protein if you're not going to eat the UPF junk food type stuff. And so I started thinking, like, I think a plant-based diet for someone who's unhealthy, like if you just look like average and unfortunately unhealthy person, and just put them on a plant-based diet, they experience dramatic health benefits. If you take someone who's already pretty healthy, that's not universal, of course, but I think research has shown that happens a lot. Take someone who's pretty healthy though and put them on a plant-based diet, maybe they don't see those benefits. I don't know. And then especially in this case, might get less muscle gain.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I wonder if this diet is one that is really great for people who need to reverse really poor health. But for someone who's kind of already healthy, maybe this is never going to be like the choice. I don't know. I've never really thought about that before, but maybe that lack of
I think it's also, it kind of like, look at the two of us, right? We're both vegan. We both chose a plant-based diet. Both relatively healthy. You go the extra mile to not eat pretzels and like do things that for long-term health, right? Like you make decisions that I don't make, or you care more deeply about eating certain things than I do, or not eating certain things than I do, right? Because you're focused on that long-term health and really optimizing yourself for living as long as you can and being as healthy as you can, right? Do you think that's fair? And I, of course, like I obviously am very focused on my health. I put a lot of energy and effort into my health and my fitness and what I eat and my nutrition. But I also eat microwave nachos. And I don't think twice about it. So like I think that if you're looking at someone who is already fairly healthy in an omnivore diet, it's probably no different than that. Like, okay, I could do this thing that will be harder and won't give me as much pleasure, but it might make me live a little bit longer. Or I could just not really worry about it because I'm probably gonna die because planes are gonna fall apart anyway.
Right. And so I think the conclusion, so remember, you and I, at least me, I think you went vegan for ethical reasons, right? Part of it, big part of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Fine, but not a health reason.
No.
So here's my bold statement. If you were
actually didn't even think it was healthy
person,
back then. Okay.
Right. So I think even today, if you are a pretty healthy person, like let's say top 10, 20% of healthiness relative to the population in a given country, you're not going to eat vegan unless you have an ethical reason, right? Like it's just not worth the benefits you see versus minor drawback you see as far as health goes. They're not worth the difficulty of adjusting your diet to make it a plant-based one, unless you have an ethical thing.
Right.
So we're doomed. The diet is doomed. We're never going to spread.
No,
people aren't going to change their healthiness. They're not. Their ethics. They're not going to change that.
But what if the goal changes, right? Like, what if the goal changes from everyone going vegan to doing what they're doing, which is eating less red meat and dairy, and then eating more vegetables and that kind of thing, right? Like, and we talk about that all the time. Like, the flexitarian is kind of, we get excited about people going flexitarian or whatever, that the Mediterranean diet is number one diet. Like, that's exciting to us because it's a mostly plant-based diet. It doesn't feel like a loss that the vegan diet's not the number one diet. So
that'd be good.
Yeah.
Does the person who I'm already putting in the top 20% or 10% of health, in their population, you think they're already eating that way? Perhaps that's why they're healthy.
I don't know.
So they don't I don't know. So we just need to get everyone doing that. We need to get everyone doing what the top 10% or 20% of people are doing. And that'd be a great thing. They would eat probably less meat, more vegetables, but they're not going to be vegan. We've figured it out here.
We figured it out. Solved the dilemma. But what does that mean for us? Like, what does that mean for people promoting the vegan diet? Focus on people who are least healthy?
Yeah.
Or not really care because,
this fix your health.
not just by health, but by ethical reasons and other reasons too. We want to keep promoting it that way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what are we gonna do. All right, I'm reading comments. People are arguing about whether BMI is good or bad, and it sounds like they're saying it's bad. Not sure how they got on the BMI topic, but they did. Garuda Legends brought it up, and somebody said it's no good. All right, Steven appreciates the authenticity rather than the plant-based sales pitch, and yeah, I think that's a good thing. Now and then, mix that in. We're not trying to be plant-based salesmen. We're just trying to talk about it. Okay, good enough. Enough of that, Doug. Anything else? Go watch this documentary. It's interesting, people. I saw Aaron told me that Garth Davis had comments very similar to ours. So the great research study was very well done. Christopher Gardner, very much a pro in his science, but the documentary a little bit undermines that by being like showing you animal ethics stuff and environment stuff, and then it just makes you think that the study is not going to be all that, fair. But it is.
I wonder if Christopher Douglas had any say in that stuff.
Christopher Gardner.
Christopher Gardner.
In the documentary, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, you would think so, but I don't know.
Don't
know for sure.
Because you don't want. You'd think that he wouldn't want to be tainted either by his future research to be tainted.
Right. But I doubt he just said, "Hey, documentary team, make me a documentary," and I'm not gonna.
Right.
I'm not gonna weigh in.
Britters asked what it's called. It's called "You Are What You Eat." It's on Netflix. It's a four-part documentary. I've seen some rebuttals too on Instagram, and mostly it's about honestly, mostly it's about this muscle gain stuff that they kind of glossed over the fact that that the omnivores gain so much more muscle. Yeah,
I don't know if the actual study highlights that very much, but the data I think comes from the study, so it's not like they covered it up. It's in there, and I think that's what studies are typically for, right? They work the data and then someone else interprets it. Although sometimes the scientist provides some interpretation. But yeah, that was the problem with it. It just seemed suspect, that whole scene where she was covering the muscle thing and just went right past it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and one post I saw, and I don't know if this is true. I'm not even sure if I should say it, but so that they didn't control for the workouts they're doing. Like they didn't necessarily do the exact same workouts.
Well, I'm not sure if that's true, but I'm not too surprised, because when they showed like the sexual health scene, the women had to go watch pornography at the beginning before the diet change, and then afterwards. And the first time they picked porn they didn't like, and so they didn't get high arousal numbers and stuff. And then the next time in, whatever it was, 8 weeks later, they said, "I'm going to be more careful now with my choices," and they chose something that was better for them. And then that's a dramatic difference, and it's like no wonder that changed it. So yeah, that's kind of I don't know. That seems like a surprising study flaw.
Yeah.
And then there was one more thing. Oh, I also heard like even twin studies, and this is not the problem with the study because it's just sort of a limitation. But like even twins, it has been shown before that you can find twins who respond differently to the same foods, right? Like just because they're twins and have, in theory, the same genetics, it doesn't mean that every food is going to be exactly the same in their systems. There's just natural variation. Anyway, still a good one to watch and think about and talk about. All right, what else we got here, Doug, before we wrap up? Quick trends.
Grow Hub food trends.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of trends, so I don't want to spend too long on trends, but this is interesting. Veg News kind of covered the highlights there, what pointed me to this report. So shout out Veg News once again. Basically, Grubhub put out their annual thing. It's mostly for restaurant people. They're helping restaurant people decide what to do based on their data. And the interesting thing for plant-based people, the number one restaurant trend that they found in 2023 was more Americans are embracing plant-based foods in 2023. Most experts expect the value of the U.S. vegan food market to increase by 40% between 2021 and 2026. So I don't know how much of that has already been done, right? Because we're halfway there now.
Right.
It's like it just seems like a strange statistic when there's all this negativity that we're still expecting this big gain. But what if we've already seen the big amount of value, 30% of it? Now there's just this little bit left. That would still be consistent with the slowdown happening. So I don't know those details, but they seem to think that it is growing still. And And then 40% of consumers say they plan to purchase plant-based meat substitutes in 2023. We're in 2024 now, right? So this
that's right. We are in fact in 2024. Yep.
So what they're talking about doing things in 2023, you can expect these things. I hope I didn't pull the wrong thing because these are the same numbers as Veg News reported. So I'm not sure what the confusion is here. Maybe they meant to say in 2024.
Is this old?
I don't know. That could be bad on our part. But they're saying, I mean, Veg News is saying it's 2024.
This was, I mean, top food trends in 2023. All you can eat. I mean, I think it must be a typo.
I don't know.
I don't know. Actually, 2023 is all over this place. They plan to purchase plant-based meat subsidies in 2023. Substitutes.
Did Veg News pull the wrong article, and then
I think you might have
just followed along.
Yep. Wah wah.
Well, that's no good. All right. So anyway, there's not.
I guess ignore all this.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I finally praised Veg News. I said, Veg News, good job. Thanks for pointing me to this thing. And they're pulling a thing that's a year out of date. But I can't. I take responsibility because I followed it. I didn't investigate deeper.
Yeah, I mean, I read through it, but I didn't catch it either.
Anyway, what they said, and again, now we don't know if this is from last year or this year, but they said that vegan eggs and vegan milk are top trends. They listed out these different vegan milks that restaurants should use. And then vegan eggs was surprising to me. They mentioned chia seeds, tofu, and vegan yogurt as egg substitutes to mimic the look, texture, and taste. And that was kind of interesting. I didn't know that. I hadn't noticed a vegan egg trend other than you talking about it all the time with your Just Egg. But that's kind of cool, I guess. I mean, chia seeds, I mean, that's like, I wouldn't say that's a trend, right? That's just like that's an egg substitute. I don't think people are going to a restaurant looking for that vegan egg alternative. But if it's something that's like a part of the finished dish and on top of it or something, that's a trend.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You know what else stood out to me was tequilas are surging throughout the United States right now, which is true. 2023 was the year of the tequila for sure. I feel like everyone was drinking tequila. Yeah. And including myself, who's never been a tequila drinker until we went to Mexico and had those mezcal tastings.
Mm-hmm. That did it, huh? I thought I would like tequila because I like margaritas and tequila drinks, but then I tried drinking it and it just tasted the same, like burn.
Oh yeah, not neat or like not solo, like in a tequila drink or something, which I would have never really ordered before.
Right.
And yeah, I guess it feels weird to talk about any of these if they're.
It really does. I'm just, as we're talking, I'm still investigating. I just can't believe that. I mean, I can believe that we would make a mistake of this, right? Because I just pull the articles and then I could, spend 5 minutes looking at them and move on. I just can't believe Veg News would publish a whole analysis of this thing and not realize it was from the year before. I don't know.
There's no date on it, so it's hard to say.
Right, there isn't. All right, well, whatever. Awkward, I guess.
There's a big ad for another article at the bottom that says how many Grubhub deliveries were made in 2022. Explore the 2022 facts.
I saw that. And like the alcohol stats they report there, it says here were the top 5 alcohol orders on Grubhub in 2022.
In 2022, yeah, this must have been published sometime in 2023. Yep. Okay, well,
definitely was. All right, well,
don't worry about it.
I mean, do we suggest Veg News they take down their thing, or do we just let that go?
I think we let it go.
But they were nice. They put us in their list. We should, or nominees. We're their friend. We need to reach out and say, look, fellow journalists, plant-based, you gotta get this down.
You made us look like a fool live. Hey, if you're here, there are several of you here. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yeah,
did anybody actually do that yesterday? I didn't actually look. I noticed.
I think it was like 8. We had like 8 or 12 likes on the video right afterwards when I went to do it. So a lot of people didn't do it. So we need you to do it.
A lot of people definitely didn't. It's so easy, right? You just go over there and smash that button.
Smash it. What
All
else?
right. Do we have anything else to talk about, Doug? No, I don't think so. I really don't have anything else at all. No, we bought more food, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, another soup recipe. I got another soup from a book called Accidentally Vegan Italian Soups, and it's a good one. Good book.
Oh yeah,
got it on Kindle for cheap. So anyway, we're gonna make that, and yeah, not too much, really nothing.
I think we're gonna go skiing tonight.
Oh yeah, whole family or just you and a friend?
Whole family.
Wow. So you're at the point now where you just get the kids bundled up out one weeknight ski trip.
Yeah.
You're just that used to skiing with them. Well, good for you. I still haven't done it with mine.
Eliza and I's second time this year. She was killing it the other day. We went last weekend. No, over a holiday. And she was doing awesome. So yeah.
Good for you.
Should be fun.
All right. Yes. Well, you can tell us about that tomorrow when we're back for our last show because it's hump day today. We're over the hump, basically. At least we are. We're done the show. So that'll be good. Anyway, till then, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Britters, for smashing the like button. Way to go. Yeah, thanks. And thanks, everyone else, for bearing with us during the confusion about the Grubhub Trends article. And we will eagerly await the actual 2024 article.
Did you watch the Emmys, Matt? Steven wants to know if we can talk about the Emmys. I didn't watch it.
Don't know. Nope, didn't. I don't even know what that is. What it's for? I know it's an award show. What's it for? TV?
No, it's
not the Oscars. That's
a good question. No, it's not the. I think it is movies too. Though I think it's all screen.
It's TV.
Television Academy. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
All I know is that Taylor Swift threw some shade to the host when he made a joke about her, and she just stared out into space with no smile.
Well, that's why Steven said apparently the host sucked.
Yeah.
Interesting. You don't want to get on Taylor Swift's bad side these days, I don't think.
You don't want to get bad blood with Taylor Swift.
No, you don't. All right. Good. Then that's it. That's all for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks again, everyone. Talk to you then.
All right. See ya. Can't end it. Hello, I'm still live. And I'm unable to end until Matt gets on. All right, this is fun.